Hello friends, it's Amber and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am so excited because we're going to be creating this mini album right here. It's a new design and I cannot wait to show you how simple it is. So I'm just going to do a quick little sneaky peek, flip through here, and then we're going to get started on the tutorial. So I designed this super easy to have like 6 different signature sections or whatever you want to call it. And they are so easy to put together, and we're going to make an actual album cover and everything. It's going to be super fun, and I love that this collection that I'm using, which is called Sweet Story, and it's by Crepe Paper and Maggie Holmes. It has all the elements like the double-sided paper, it has single-sided paper, and all the die cuts and fun stickers, and I just loved working with it. So that's a great idea for some of these collections. You can use up so much of the paper and all the embellishments and everything by memory keeping in one of these albums. I can't wait to show you. Let's go ahead and get started on the tutorial. Okay, so for the 12 by 12 paper, you will need 6 pieces of double-sided 12 by 12 paper. Then you'll need some chipboard to make the covers, and it's very easy. So you'll need 2 pieces that measure 6 1/4 by 6 1/4, and 1 piece that measures 1 by 6 1/4. And because I didn't have a long enough scrapbook paper to fit the entire length of this, I decided to do 2 different covers. So these measure 8 1/4 inches tall by 8 wide each. So the total length here is 16 inches by 8 1/4. Okay, so then these are single-sided. You don't have to use double-sided for this part because you're not going to see the other side of these. But you need a piece that measures 6 1/4 by 3, and then 2 pieces that measure 6 up and down by 6 1/2 wide. So these are going to be for the inside covers. And I'll show you what we're going to do with this piece later on in the video. So we're going to start out by doing the covers. So the one that you want to be the front cover, you're going to put it on the left side, and then you're going to so make sure that you have these 8 1/4 up and down, and then 8 across, so 16 total across. And then you're just going to butt these right up against each other. So then you're going to take your 6 1/4 by 1 inch piece. So you're just going to add a little bit of adhesive. It doesn't have to be a lot. Just add some to the back. And then make sure these 2 are straight. And then what you're going to do with this piece is you're going to center it and make sure it's in the center of this piece. And so make sure you have the same length on the top and the bottom. And just eyeball that. Make sure that's straight. And then just press it down. And that kind of holds the 2 pieces together also. So then all you do is take one of your 6 1/4 by 6 1/4 pieces, add a little adhesive to that. I just do a few swipes of my tape runner. So you're not going to butt this right up against that middle spine piece. You want to take at least a chipboard's length away, and this is lightweight chipboard. So just kind of put that in between so you can kind of get where it should be. And there you go, lay that down, and now there's a little gap there. And that helps so that way the paper doesn't tear or crack when we go to fold this over. So same thing on this side. There we go. So now we have our chipboard covers coming along. And as you can see, I'll show you, so that's going to be your front cover. And that's going to be your back cover. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do for this is you're going to take a pair of scissors and we're going to angle these corners. So just kind of be gentle with your paper. So you're going to take the scissors and don't cut right to that point because you want a little bit of paper to be there still. So you're going to cut this at an angle and kind of go like that. So I hope that you can see kind of how I cut that. You're just going to do that for all 4 of the corners. So now you're left with this, and you're going to, of course, fold these over so you have a nice border here. So I like to take my bone folder and just kind of get these creased and ready. So it makes it a little easier to fold over. You can just kind of get it started where you know you're going to fold it. So for this you want to use some really strong glue. So I'm going to just line this with some Scor Tape. You can also use your ATG gun in combination with some wet glue. That'll work too. I like to use Scor Tape, so I like to get it all the way to the edge. And then I'm going to go around and press that down really well. So I'm just going to do this on all 4 sides. This is really like the technique that you need to make any type of album cover. You can use chipboard or you can use really sturdy cardstock. Just depends what you want for that album. Okay, so I'm just going to take my bone folder and really press that down so it's nice and adhered down, and then it's in the fibers of the paper, so it'll be really strong. So then just take off the backing. So I'll do the top and the bottom first. So you just want to gently kind of work this up and make sure it's right up against the chipboard. To work with it better, I'm going to turn it around. And you don't want it to be too tight on this part because you don't want the paper to rip when we go to bend this. So just kind of make sure it's all the way to the edge, but then gently lay it down and use your bone folder. You just want to keep in mind where, of course, the front is still, if you have 2 different pages. My, for some reason, scrapbook pad only had 1 of each. There was like 48 sheets, but there were no duplicates. So that's why I did 1 of each of these. I think it's going to look cute though. So do the same thing for this side. Do it very gently because you do not want that paper to rip. And some paper is a lot thinner than others. So you want to make sure that you don't do it too rough because then the paper will rip. Okay, so then just gently lay that down and then take your bone folder and get it really good and burnished. So then we're going to do the same thing for the 2 sides. I like to work it up like this, and then you're going to release the adhesive backing. Now we have this off to a great start. Here's what the front is going to look like, and here's the back. And don't worry how this has a gap right here. I'm going to show you how we're going to fix that. But now we need to go ahead and mat this, but before we do that, we're going to put our ribbon down so we have a closure. Okay, so I'm just going to take this ribbon, and I want plenty of slack. I can always trim it. So let me see here. Okay, so this is 36 inches of ribbon. So find the center of the ribbon, like this. So hold it right there, and then just stick it like that. So you kind of got like an eyeballed center of the ribbon. I just want to add a little adhesive so this kind of stays down. So I'm just going to put a little bit there. And on the other side, just so it kind of doesn't move around on us. But that other paper is going to hold it down pretty good. Okay, so now that's where these adorable pieces come in. So these measure 6 by 6.5. Just make sure that the 6 is up and down and 6.5 is wide, because you're going to meet that little gap where the 2 covers meet. You're going to kind of mirror that for the inside here. Let's go ahead and glue these down. I'm just going to use my ATG gun for this. Just make sure you add a bunch of adhesive all the way to the end. You can use wet glue for this. That would be really strong. I'm just going to use my ATG gun. So I've got that side down, and I just want to burnish it really well with my bone folder and just press all that glue in so it does not go anywhere. And then do the exact same thing for this side. Okay, we've got our cover almost completely done. Look how this is coming along. It's so pretty. And now we're gonna do the fun part where you get to actually make this look like a book now. So where that gap is with that 1-inch spine, you're gonna kind of find it. Gently use your bone folder so that way you don't crack your paper. And gently fold that up. Then you're gonna go to this side and find that gap. Use your bone folder to help it along a little bit. And then gently fold that up for that. Oh my goodness, look at our cute little book cover. You're gonna be showing some chipboard right here, maybe like I am, but there's nothing to worry about because we're gonna cover that up. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. Look at our cover. We have a really adorable, super easy book cover now. So for this, you're gonna need your scoreboard. Remember the piece that I showed you that you're going to need that measures 6 1/4 by 3. Put it in your scoreboard at the 3-inch side, and you are going to score this in at 1/8 of an inch shy of 1 inch. So here's the 1-inch mark right here. You're going to go 1/8 of an inch shy of that 1 inch. So it's going to be 7/8 of an inch. And then you're going to turn it around and do the exact same thing for this side. You're going to score it in at 7/8 of an inch. Hold on your score lines. And you probably guessed it, we're going to be using this to cover our spine. And it's going to fit perfectly right there. Just like that. So I don't put it on at this point. I want to put my album together, get everything in here, and then the last part I want to do is put this on and glue it on there. And you can also stick your covers aside for right now because I'm going to show you how we're going to do the binding in the middle. So you're going to also need some solid cardstock, and this is for the binding. And I'm using the 110-pound white cardstock from Michaels. I love it. It's super sturdy and heavy duty. So you're going to need 3 pieces. The first one measures 6 by 1 1/4, and then 6 by 1 and 6 by 3/4. So this is where these little strips of cardstock come in. You're going to stick these in your scoreboard, and this first one measures 6 inches by 1 1/4. You're going to score in at 1/4 inch. And then turn it around and score in again at 1/4. I figured that's the easiest way to do this. So now you have a 1/4 inch score line on each side, and that middle panel measures 3/4 of an inch. So put that one aside. You're going to do the same thing for each one of these strips. So I know it's super tiny to work with, but you're going to put your, this is the 1 inch by 6 inches. You're going to score in at 1/4. Turn it around and score again at 1/4. And then for the last one, this is the tiny one that measures 3/4 by 6. Score in at 1/4. Turn it around and again at 1/4. Okay, so I brought in my craft mat so you can see this better. You are going to actually, so you're going to fold on all the score lines. So I know it's pretty small, but you're going to try to get that really well with your bone folder. Try not to rip the paper because I know it's super tiny to work with. It just depends on how thick your paper is, but just be careful. So now that one's folded and it looks like this. Let's see if I can get that to focus. So that's what they look like, and you're going to stack these together. Just like this. See, you're going to stack this one here, and then you're going to stack that one in there, and it's going to be your binding. The way we're going to start out is by adding adhesive to this middle piece. So you have your little flaps facing up. See? They're facing that way. You're going to turn this around. You flatten it if you need to. And add adhesive to just that middle panel. I'm going to zoom in for this. So you're just going to turn that middle piece around and add glue to this middle panel. I used to use Scor Tape for this, but this just PVA glue, this like wet, quick dry adhesive is really strong, and it works a lot better because then you have time to center it. So I'm going to add glue to just that middle panel. And I love these little precision bottles. So make sure I'm adding plenty, but not too much. To just the back of that middle panel. See, that's how it looks. Let me see if it'll focus. So now you've got glue all there. You're going to take your biggest piece and it's face up. And you are going to set this and glue this down in the center. So however you have to do that, manhandle it or whatever, to center that between those two score lines on that next bigger piece. And I think using the wet glue is so much easier than using Scor Tape because it gives you a chance to move it around if it's not completely even. So you want to make sure that you have the same gap here as you do over there. This is what it looks like so far. Now you have 1, 2, 3, 4 flaps for your binding. Alright, so I think that you kind of catch on what I'm saying here. So now you're going to take your little skinny piece and turn it over and do the same thing. You're going to add wet glue to that middle panel. Okay. So now turn it back over. And here it is. We've got glue on the back there. And that's the front. So you're going to center this. If you need to flatten these out, go ahead and do that. Center this now in the middle of these. And see what I mean about the wet glue? It gives you time. Really make sure that that's even. And that is perfectly even. So now I'm going to just kind of press it down, let that glue dry. And I'll show you what it looks like when it's all dry. So there's what our Stack the Deck binding looks like. See? So now we have all these flaps that we can adhere our paper to in the middle of the album. So this is what it looks like. Again, the side view is the best, I think. And what we're going to do is we're going to stick it right here in the middle of our album, and then we're going to adhere paper to all the flaps. And I'm going to show you how we're going to make the cute pages because they're going to work perfectly for these 1/4 inch flaps. So what I'm going to do for this is 3/4 of an inch, and remember the spine is 1 inch. I'm going to use 2 different adhesives for this. First, I'm going to put down Scor Tape right down the middle. Make sure that's really nice and pressed down. Okay, so I'll release the backing, and then I'm also going to add wet glue all along the panel, over that Scor Tape and on the sides. So just on that 3/4 of an inch panel is where we're adding the glue. This is our entire binding system, so we want to make sure it's super duper strong. And that'll give you just a minute to move it around too. So now we have the adhesive right there all over our Stack the Deck binding. So now I just want to kind of pick this up to see where the center is, and I'm going to glue this down. Make sure it's straight, and there we go. Our binding is in. So just be careful with this part that you have it nice and straight. And then here's all of our flaps to add our pages. So this is where the 6 12x12 pages come in. We're going to use the entire sheet, and this is what the pages are going to look like. So when you open the book, there's going to be 6 pages that look like this. So here's the flap, and then in the middle you have a pocket, and it's going to be a pocket up here. And then here's 2 more pages, and then there's the back, and then it's going to continue on with 5 more. Now this right here has this side that's unsealed, because this is the side that's going to go right on to those 1/4 inch flaps. So these are going to become the pages of the album, and I'll show you how to do that. It's going to be so easy. So let's go ahead and get these pages prepped. I'll show you how to make these easy peges. So I want to show you, and it's a really fun thing to do with double-sided paper, and it's a really fun project to use up a lot of paper. So let's get these all prepped first. The only thing I'm going to do is take off the branding strip. Just make sure we have a true 12 inches for each one of these papers. And all that should do is take off that branding strip. So now we have a true 12x12, and I'm going to do that for all the rest of these pages. Your scoreboard, and you're going to score these all the exact same way. You're going to score them down the middle at 6, and then give it a 1/4 turn, and down the middle at 6 again. So you're making 4 panels. So now that you have all your pages prepped and scored and everything, we are going to make one cut, and I'm going to choose this one because this has an image on it, and I'm going to show you what you need to do if yours has an image. Some of these doesn't matter, they can go either way. So I want this to be the front and back cover of my signatures, and then the inside I figure I'd be gluing more pictures and little pockets, so it can be this plain paper. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how you cut this down to make sure that this front page is right side up. Because this has an image, you're going to turn it to where the top is at the right, bottom is at the left. So then you're going to just fold on all your score lines and make sure they're nice and folded and creased. So now you've got the 4 panels. The top is at the right, bottom is at the left. You are going to cut this score line. That's the only one you're going to cut. So where the paper itself, top is over here, bottom is over here, this is the bottom to you where it's facing. So you're going to cut up that score line. So this is how I remember how to put these together. You just take this and you kind of spread it like that, and it naturally folds the 2 top panels in on each other like that. And then you're just going to take it and turn it around to the page where your image is up and down the correct way. So then just take your bone folder and crease down those folds, and you have your little booklet. So here is the first page. The second page has 2, and then here's the last page, and like I said, it's upside down. That doesn't bother me, but if it bothers you, you're going to want to use paper that doesn't have an orientation to it. So now at this point, you're just going to do 2 things. You're going to open this first page up, take some kind of circle punch, or you can use your envelope punch board, and take this first layer of that second page and just punch a little pull notch, And I like it because then you can kind of see the other paper through it. Then you're going to fold this panel down and just glue this side. You want to form this into a pocket, so you're just going to do a thin bead of glue on that side. So then just flip the panel back up and just kind of glue that down, because now this is going to be a top loading pocket. And I know this side isn't glued down, but this side is where we're going to put it onto our binding. So then eventually that's going to be glued down, so you'll have this nice top loading pocket in the middle, and then this page at the end. So you have, with each 12 by 12 paper, you're going to have one of these little booklets, and there's going to be 6 altogether in the album. They'll go like this. You have this one, your cute little pocket, here's your page, then you'll have your next one with your cute little pocket, and your next page. So now I'm going to do this to the rest of the paper. I've got 4 more to go. I'm going to do the same exact thing for all of them. So I have all 6 of my pages done. So I think this is the order that I want them in. So just make sure when you put them in, the part right here, down here that's folded is the bottom and the open part is the top. Okay, so I'm going to move those up and bring in our album. So here's our binding, and each of these, as I said, has a 1/4 inch flap. So there's 6 of them and we have 6 pages. So what I'm going to do is take my precision bottle of glue and I'm going to add adhesive to this first 1/4 inch flap. So I'm going to use wet glue because it's going to essentially be sealing that pocket. So you don't want to use any dry adhesive here, like you don't want to use your tape runner. And also wet glue is way more forgiving if you make a mistake. So I'm just going to, I put wet glue on both sides, right there and on that side. So I'm going to take my first page, and I told you how it opens like this. It's going to fit perfectly right on that first flap. So I like to take it to the bottom and then just kind of wedge that 1/4 inch flap right in between and sandwich it in between your little page here. And just give it a little press with my bone folder. Same thing on this side. Make sure those 2 edges meet up. It is much easier if I would have done 1/2 inch flaps, because then you are working with a bigger surface. I just didn't want a lot of the pocket to be taken away, but actually now that I think about it, it really doesn't matter. Flap would just be a little bit bigger and easier to work with. So we've got our first one in there, adhered to this flap. So now we're just going to do the same thing for all the rest of these 5 flaps. We're going to put a booklet on each one. So let's do another one together. I'm going to add glue to both sides. This side, and then that side. And again, work pretty fast because this glue is quick dry. So here's my next page. Again, the fold is at the bottom. I'm just going to sandwich it, just like I did the first one, onto that flap. Press it down with my bone folder. Let's make sure those edges match up. So far we have this booklet, and now we have this booklet, and now we're just going to continue on with those. OMG. So I'm all done. It worked out perfectly to where those pages went right on all the flaps. So let me do a quick flip through. First I'll do it by booklet. So here's this one. And that one. Oh my gosh, these are so cute. And that one, this one, and this one right there. So they went on those flaps really easily, but like I said, if you want to do 1/2 inch flaps, that would be probably easier. But now let me do a flip through of what this looks like. So now that we have them sealed over here, that makes a top loading pocket on each one of these. So just look how much real estate is in this book. You've got the first page, then you've got your top loading pocket, and 2 more pages here, and then the next booklet. And it goes on and on just like that. Oh my goodness, this is so cute. You could use so much paper up making a bunch of these albums. I love this so much, and I don't mind that some of them are upside down. I don't know if you guys do, it just looks more quirky and like eclectic to me. So I think it's super cute. Here's the back cover. And the front cover, you could add some pockets there if you wanted. I'll probably do that here in a minute. But here is the outside of our album, and it's so cute. We're going to fix the spine in a minute. And here's this. So let's go ahead and do that. Let me grab my spine piece. Here's the spine piece, and I'm going to fill this with wet glue. This all the way up with wet glue. And I'm even going to get my finger a little bit sticky because I want to get this all the way to the edge. So I got to work kind of fast because, like I said, it is a quick dry. So I just want to make sure it gets all the way to all those edges. And now we can stick it on here. So I'm just going to do it just like this. And then the wet glue lets you move it around a little. So I'm just going to make sure that it's nice and straight here on the front. Grab my bone folder and make sure it's nice and burnished on there. The back. So that was like really easy to put that spine piece on there, and it cleaned it up so nicely. Oh my gosh, I love how this looks. And then you can just take your ribbon and tie it closed. So of course I want to go in here and decorate this a little bit with some of the die cuts and stickers that I have for this collection. And I want to make some inserts for the pockets. So let's do that next. I love how it turned out. I love the pages inside, and this paper just does all the work for you. It's so gorgeous, and I'm so excited that I finally got to use it, and I love this new style of album that I've come up with. It was just so much fun and so easy to create, and it uses so much paper. So here is my cover. I absolutely love how it turned out, and this beautiful like dimensional sticker that I added. It all ties together, and I just think it looks so pretty. And then there's the spine and the back. So let's do a full flip through. We've got a satin ribbon closure. And here is the inside. I decorated this off camera. I didn't want the video to be too long because you can really make these your own. So I did add a pocket on the front and just added some stickers from the collection and put a few cute cut-aparts in here that came with the collection as well. They're like little vintage Polaroids. And you could fit lots more stuff in there. These I just cut down to 3 by 6, and I just used my envelope punch board to make the notch. And I glued all 3 sides there and left this, of course, open for a pocket. So here's our first little signature, I guess we'll call it. And I just very simply decorated it. So in this signature, we have this front page. And then lots of room to decorate and add photos. And then this is a top-loading pocket in the middle here. And I added just simple photo mats to each of these, and they fold, and they're double-sided. And so these, all I did was I cut this paper down to 5 inches by 11.5, and then I just did a top fold on that, and it fits perfectly into the pocket, and it shows a little bit here, and that's for that cute middle pocket. So you can fit lots more photos on that double-sided mat. And then here's the last page of the signature where you can fit a lot more stuff. This has so much real estate in it. I love it. And then here's the next set of pages. So this one is so cute. I just simply, again, decorated it. So you've got that page, and then I did put another photo mat inside this top loading pocket. So there's that. And you can decorate these too. I figured that the pictures could go down, and then you could use like the rest of the collection if you have one. To decorate. So that's great. That's a great use for these collection packs that you can get with all the embellishments. You put your pictures down and then decorate around it. You could even journal on some of these pages. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did, so that way I know you like these kind of simple and easy tutorials. I hope that you'll give this one a try, especially if you're trying to get rid of a bunch of paper this year. You can use this. You can make so many of these albums and just make them your own. I just love how this turned out. It's so beautiful, and the paper does all the work. It's the star of the show. So again, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!